we have enough knowledge, we need to do the right social choice. And this panel was probably the best one I've heard on the conference.
Well, thank you very much.
So impressive. It was really the best panel of the whole UNEC.
This was brilliant. So thank you.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
There is so much talk and so little action, and we hear it again and again. So little progress has been made when it immediately comes down to financing in the T trillions of dollars for the ocean.
I just want to ask you a question. Why there is a plastic bottle on our table? Why there is a plastic bottle on our table in this venue with this topic in this conference? That's the proof our system. Thank you.
I mean, just to follow on from your excellent point about the plastic bottle, I would add to it and say, why is there a glass bottle on the table? Have we not got perfectly drinkable water coming from the pipework in Nice, in France? I believe that we do. And I believe that we could just as equally have jugs of tap water rather than any bottled water that's got an immense carbon footprint on it. So we do all need to step up and improve.
We don't have the systems, the economics and incentives to actually value biodiversity for living. We'll continuously extract. So it's pretty clear that even though we might want to protect those beautiful creatures, our economic systems are flawed, and we're doing almost nothing to change them at scale.
Richard Thompson, a big applause.
If the captain said it earlier on, you know, it's the destination that sets the course we take. What is the course that we all want to take here? Is it that we want to give up and say that it's actually too late? Or do we want to chart a course that's enforceable and direct ourselves towards a more sustainable future, not just for our oceans, but for our planet and for all of us?
So we like to speak of hope. That is why we're here, right? That's why you all rose your hands. But the oceans are not drowning in hope. They're drowning in heat, nearly 200 million tons of plastic pollution, overuse of critical resources, and unfulfilled promises. By saying it's not too late, we are succumbing to a system that is clearly not working.
The greatest danger we face is not warming seas or rising plastic. It's giving up.
We want to be good ancestors, we want to be good siblings, we want to be good family members, and that's more than any policy, that's more than any draft, that's more than any law. We have the law of the ocean, we have the land of ourselves, we are right holders, not stakeholders. Thank you very much.
Just a few days ago, the Executive Secretary of the UN Capital Development Fund stated that the developing countries most affected by climate change receive only 4% of the $500 trillion in available global assets. And I quote, just a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction supports ocean-related efforts. So this speaks to an overall greater issue of political will and a clear imbalance of priorities that perpetuates inequitable power structures, and our oceans are paying the price.
And I can't believe adults who've been working in this for 30 plus years barely have any impact to show on the record. We say billions of dollars are raised. I'm not seeing that cash deployed to communities. That's why I'm starting funds for Indigenous people, because all of this is a bunch of lip service. And
there's nothing I've heard here this evening that's suggesting that there's a disagreement between the panels. I actually endorse everything that you guys have said, but you're not actually saying that it's too late. What you seem to be saying is that there are solutions that we're failing to implement, that we're not acting fast enough, that we're not moving fast enough. I would agree with you. There isn't enough Indigenous knowledge inputs. We don't have equity. We're not enforcing marine protected areas. But none of those things are about it being too late. They're about us not moving fast enough to implement them. So I think, in my view, the thing that we really need to do is to stop arguing between different parties and different member states, and we need to find a way to converge, and we certainly need to do that in the plastic treaty. So I would argue actually that the motion that we'd all agree with is that we're not acting fast enough, and that we need policymakers to take decisions to implement and then enforce the things. We've got too much jaw and not enough action, and that's the motion that I actually think we would all agree on tonight.
But to say that there is no hope is both scientifically inaccurate. The IPCC and the IBAS report both says that degradation is serious but reversible.
We should have hope, and I appreciate that hope, but we don't have the time to wait for years for the final 9 or 10 countries to ratify it, or for politicians to wake up and see that the fossil fuel lobby is controlling the progress of the plastics treaty. It's important to have hope, but this is sort of to my original point that by accepting that it's too late, we are not being defeatist, but we are fulfilling our moral responsibility and not giving into naive optimism that our current systems are achieving anything that matters.
By the way, who said there's no hope for the ocean? There is no hope for us.
At the heart of all of this is going to be the youth. It's going to be the next generation. What I'm urging the negotiators to do in the Plastics Treaty is to look the next generation in the eye and to say that they are going to vote in the direction for a future and more sustainable use of our oceans than we've seen to date. Thank you.
Whoa. We have to give you this. You have moved a few opinions there. So as debaters, you have done an amazing job. So congratulations.